My name is Lupules. I'm gonna be showing you today basically a comprehensive list of the top 200 RuneLite plugins. Basically, I've been playing RuneScape a while back and I just came back to the game. Got like 1.2k total skill level on a hardcore Ironman account. And I've been blown away by the open source community, basically the plugin modding community of RuneScape. And I want to share basically what I found during this entire process. As you can see, I have basically 200 mods over here. And I'm gonna be splitting it into like two parts. The top 50 mods, I just clicked the star here to favorite them. And I'll be going over what they do and some unknown configurations that you can do with them. And for those that want to stick around, I'm also gonna go to the others in the top 200 basically. And all of them are really great. And basically, let's get started. But before we do that, let us just go a bit in the normal settings. So even if you are on the Steam client, you might be benefit a lot from just configuring some stuff here. If you want to see more information without needing the tooltips, click on this button to navigate this menu. There are a lot of controls also inside. So if you don't use RuneLite, you can just configure these ones and also improve your quality of life. What I have, for example, I just disabled profanity. There are some languages that are considered profanity, like my native language, so I just disabled that. I also really recommend shift click dropping. So let's just use the search bar. Shift click dropping, I recommend having it so you can shift and shift drop items. Follower options. This one is also good. Move follower options lower down. So if you have a cat and the cat is on top of something, it's gonna be lower the options for it, which can be fairly useful. Other things that I recommend are better keybinds. So if you go to the keybinds, I recommend changing the F1s over here to have the more important ones in the front. This is my current setup, but most people usually change these ones. And I also have another plugin that I will show you later that instead of using the F keys, I use the 1, 2, 3, 4 keys. For example, my 1 key is my prayer, my 2 key is my special attack, my 3 key is my magic tab, my 4, not F4, 4 is my inventory, and my instead of my escape, the F keys also work. My escape is my inventory. I have it on tilde, the key left to the 1. I also have the inventory. It's more ergonomic. I have big hands, but I still don't want to use the F keys. So I just have them on tilde 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and more, etc. I will show you the plugin later on. Other stuff that are default, let me show you. Escape closes interface. So this one is escape closes the current interface. This one should be default, but it's not. So if you go into your bank, and usually you have to press escape, the close button, but now I just press tilde, which is my escape, and I just exit the bank and all the interfaces, which is very useful, and I recommend that to everyone. Other scroll wheel changes zoom. I think this one, I don't think it's default, but of course it lets you zoom. And I also have a plugin that allows you to zoom a lot. I have these bars are from the NPC Aggression. Let me just click them. Okay, now it looks better. Other stuff that I recommend, the wiki entity lookup. This one is pretty cool. So there is this lookup wiki right next to your minimap. So if I want to see, for example, what's the helm of Nate's knot, how does it look on the wiki, I click on this and click on an item, and it opens up. Let me show you. It opened up this one. Control W, I just close it. And it also has a search function, as OSRS search wiki. So I just type kitten and I can see it. And it's pretty useful if you have a browser on the other monitor like I have. And yeah, I recommend enabling this lookup wiki. And you also can click on stop in the world. For example, I want to see this pole boot. What's it about on the wiki, and I just opened it up by clicking. Not new players don't usually know about this one, but I recommend, or returning players like I was. It actually would have helped me a lot if I knew it from the beginning. Okay, other stuff that I recommend that is not default. Transparent chat box, something with transparency. Click through transparent chat box, and transparent side panels. As you can see my inventory, I can see Amelia over here because it is transparent, and I like it. If you use the classic layout, you can also do the resize layout, um, which is a bit different, but I prefer the classic one just for nostalgia reasons. And also the chat. The chat is usually not transparent, and I made it transparent and clickable, so I can click through. Very useful. And I also have a plugin that I will show you later that makes the right-click menu look better and be transparent, which I also like. So I can see stuff behind. I will show you later. Other than that, yeah, that's everything in the in-game settings. Another thing that I also recommend working with is these two options that you can see in the settings. The NPC attack option, you can place it on hidden for example, pickpocketing. So if you have a guard, so if this one was attackable, if the master farmer was attackable, and you had this option, always left click where available, like the default, it will be, you would have to right click and pickpocket. But if you put it on hidden, you could just spam click like on the master farmer. So if you want to pick back Knights of Arduin and guards and other stuff, it makes it very easy to just hide the attack option, but you have to put it back because your normal monsters are also NPCs. They won't have the attack option. It will be hidden, so you won't be able to attack them. But many people do that. Okay, and that was basically everything for the all available inbuilt settings. Now we're gonna go to RuneLite. So basically, I was blown away by RuneLite. Make sure you go to runelite.net and nowhere else. So if you go on Google, there have been scams in the past, and I've shown. There are other, depending on your search engine, other stuff can appear higher as ads. Make sure it's runelite.net. So if you want to be extra safe, go to RuneLite GitHub, and it's the official repository, the one with the most followers, basically, like 3.5 people started it. And make sure they have this Discord server, the RuneLite wiki, and you can see somewhere here that it's, let me see, RuneLite. It's runelite.net. It's verified. Make sure it's like this. So this is how I know I'm not scamming you, okay? So runelite.net, download it from here, and you can also browse the plugin hub from here, and also see wiki and images. But I just have all of my plugins over here. So when you first install RuneLite, you can see in the top, in the sidebar, there is configuration at the top. And these are all the 200 mods that I will be covering today. It will be a long video, as you can see from the time at the bottom. I will be having timestamps in the video, so you can jump to whatever you need. Okay, so at the bottom you see plugin hub. So let me just show you all of the plugins that I have downloaded from the plugin hub, the approved plugin hub by the RuneLite open source team. Basically, you see the ones from Remove are non-standard RuneLite. They don't come installed with RuneLite. So if you want to install them, I just suggest pausing the video as I scroll through this. Basically, from here to here, like a quarter of all RuneLite plugins are installed in my setup. I haven't had issues with them if you're also concerned on stability, but I also don't recommend installing everything blindly. This is like a comprehensive list of how you can tweak your RuneLite experience. And I recommend installing what's right for you. I will be explaining what they do and how I customize them to make them even better. So yeah, let me show you. So the first page is this, up down to Rogue's Den, down to Supplies Tracker, down to Shooting Stars, down to Fossil Island optimization, down to one tick metronome, just pause the video if you want to see everyone. Down to Lifesaver, down to Player Outline, down to Bank Equipment something, and that's it. And that's all I have. And also banked experience is pretty good. I'm not sure why it's removed. Let me just install it quick. I had it in my old setup. Probably something happened. Banked experience is also a plugin I want to cover. Okay, so these are all the plugins that I'm also gonna show just for curiosity's sake, the plugins I have here. So let me go scroll through them. Quest Helper, down to Quest Helper, down to Chat Filter. Chat Filter. Now it's here. Down to Implings. Down to, up to Implings. Down to Poison. And Poison. Down to Weapon Chargers, and that's everything. So these are the 200 plugins. So that's it. I'm just gonna go one by one and show you what they do. So basically, let's start with probably one of the most popular ones. I think it's in the top 2 and top 3. It's the 117. It's a RuneScape guy. I think he's called 117. It's called the 117 HD Beta. So basically, if you install it, it turns RuneScape into an HD version. So this is the classic RuneScape experience without GPU or without anything. So if you turn it on, it also utilizes your GPU and it adds a lot of graphics settings. I think I have them default, but you can tweak them. Basically, it adds a graphics menu, like customize your graphics in RuneScape. It has a lot of information, but when you install it, it comes with the winter theme at the moment because I'm in, yeah, at the end of January. So we still have winter theme, so just disable that if you want the classic experience. Also, the winter theme is good if you like it, so you can use that. The second one that I really like, so this is the top 50. I haven't ordered them. You cannot reorder everything over here or in the sidebar. I wish the RuneLite team made something like you press Alt and you click and drag and you can reorder things, but at the moment this is not a feature. So the top 50 these are in no particular order, but they're all great. The top 200, I also recommend everything else over here to try out and maybe install for yourself. But these are the best of the best. So I'm just going to go in alphabetical order at the moment. The account. This one comes with the RuneLite client and it's very useful. If you can go to the top right, it says sign out of RuneLite. I basically created a RuneLite account where it stores all my configurations. So when I go on my other laptop, now I'm on my main PC, and if I go on my laptop, all of the things that I change between the two machines, and make sure when you close your account, very important, just close it like this with close and press OK. Don't force close it or like Alt F4 or other things because it might not save your most recent changes in the configurations. When you close it normally, it also does a save step. So that's how I basically play on multiple devices. I also play on mobile when AFKing. Okay. And that's basically the account. It doesn't have any configurations. It just enables account sync, basically. And it's very useful if you have multiple devices. Now the bank ones. The bank ones are one of my favorites. So there is the standard one, which is called bank. There's also bank memory, bank tag layouts, and bank tags. Also bank XP value, but that's on the side. These four, basically it's your bank on steroids, and let me show you how useful that is. So the bank one is it shows more information and adds a Control F screenshot hotkey, sorry, for searching your bank. So it has more information on hover, like the GE and high alchemy price, and also the weapon stats are from a different mod. I will show you later. So if you have these are your classic tabs. It also adds some placeholders, quick deposits stuff. You can also see the show menu here with more information. This one, there is a trick that you can do. You can fill everything with placeholders. So I filled everything with placeholders, and now I cannot store everything. You can use the deposit inventory button to store everything but your axe or something, you know. And if you want to remove them, you clear all bank fillers. Those are virtual fillers, so your bank doesn't work anymore. And this is And Control F works, and everybody uses a lot of Control F. If they want, I want my crystal saw, I just take it. Okay, and you can also see show exact bank value. You can see your bank value at the top. It adds a lot of features, but not much functionality. The other ones that I recommend, bank memory is basically a sidebar plugin that what does it do? It has a memory of all saved banks. So if you have multiple accounts and you use this device, you will have on my current one, I have a bank and I can check it. For example, I'm out fighting monsters. Do I have a Torstol seed? Apparently it's in my vault. Do I have a Renar seed? I do, or something. And I can check in my bank via search. And it's very useful when you're on the run and also want to access your bank. And I recommend that one. Bank tag layouts and bank tags, they work together. The bank tags, I think, is part of the default RuneLite installation, but the bank tag layouts are a much more useful upgrade to it. So if you can see the left side of the panel, I have what are called tag how should I say, tabs. Okay, so these tag tabs, why is it that's hard to say? I have a quick tab, a tool tab, my melee range magic sets. I have my semi-organized seed ones. I have it on rows, and I have potions. So if you don't install layouts, it's not gonna have a layout. So for example, this one, you can drag everything where you want. But if I go right click and delete layout for tight, it's gonna have them unsorted based on the tags at the top. But if I enable layout, this is by default, it's gonna be when you install the plugin. It's now a free space for everyone to use in the way you want it. So that's why I love it, because you can organize stuff in a position and it saves the position. Without the bank tag layouts, you can have I have it on default, I think. I haven't configured it, but the bank tags is also useful. So how does it work? If you want to add a stuff, I want this blessed axe to be in my tool tab, you just drag and drop it. You can also right click and edit tags for the blessed axe, but you right click it and it appeared over here. And you can right click remove to remove it from a tag. And you can customize a new tag with whatever name you want. And one weapon, one item can appear on multiple tabs. For example, in my quick tab, I have my rune axe, I have it in my tool tab, and I also have it somewhere else. So you can have it in multiple places, depending on your needs. So these are one of my favorites mods because it overhauls the banking experience. Let me press escape, exit, and the normal bank tag. Let me see if I have something non-standard here. I also like the remember, and that's about it. Now, bank XP value is a very popular mod, so let me show you that one. Bank XP value is a show tutorial. Everything is default inside it. It's over here. If you go banked XP. So for example, you want to see a particular skill, what experience you have banked and you need to process. I use it a lot for Herblore and others and fletching. So if you want to see what can I do with these Ranar weeds and what potion I can make, you can choose whatever. I want to make energy potions, and it shows how much banked experience is that. And if you have a target level, I want to go to 38, you can place it over there so you can see. Very useful when you're near your bank and you want to do some processing, just enable this one. The next one, the clue scroll, and I should probably mention it ahead of time, the quest helper. They're one of the most popular. The clue scroll and the quest helper are basically solvers. So if you go and grab a scroll, and you read it, it's gonna tell you the solution and where to go and what do you need. So if you are optimizing for experience, you can use that. Same for the quest helper. The quest helper is this one. You can enable a quest and it will show you what you need, what rewards you get, and the steps. It's also gonna show you UI. Everybody loves this one, but it can, if you're going through the game at a slow pace and you want to experience the game, I recommend only using the quest helper when you get stuck, just to experience some of the good quests. There are some bad quests out there that you're better off just using the quest helper, but some quests are pretty fun. So I recommend like that. You can press X, and I can deposit this one to get rid of the messages. Those ones are the solver plugins, and a lot of people are using them. I don't have them customized in this plugin configuration, but I recommend when you go to the quest helper, there are two filters. There is the ordering and the filter that I recommend changing. I also like using the show meets requirement if you have levels. Otherwise, just or if you're free to play, you can click on free to play, but there aren't many quests in free to play. And also on clicking on optimal. Instead of having them alphabetic, which is not very useful, you can click on optimal or optimal Ironman in my case. And this is based on the Wiki article called, I think, Optimal Quest Guide. Let me bring it up. It's this one. Let me feed my cat real quick and stroke it twice because it's the same. It's the same time. It's 15 minutes and 30 minutes for feed. Okay. So let me go back. Basically, the quest guide from it's in-game instead of having to use the wiki. Okay. So I like it to have it ordered like this. Now going back, the clue scroll, customizable XP drops. This is something I like. So what does it do? I optimized them to show me experience drops. For example, if I'm harvesting this, let me grab a spade. The ultra compost didn't work over there. It shows me an XP orb and an XP drop. The XP orb is one of the other XP plugins, and I like it. It's just a little dopamine hit, and it notifies me how much damage I'm doing and other stuff. Let me see. Customizable XP drops. It shows you how many actions you have left until your level and stuff like that. The another one that I really like and not many people are using is the DPS Calculator. It's really good. It also appears in the sidebar. So let me find it. The DPS Calculator is this one. So what does it do? You can choose an NPC, the blue dragon, for example. It automatically pulls the stats. I go home again. I go to my equipment. I click load from client. It puts everything here. Also my current stance. For example, if I want the spike instead, I can do that. My skills, I'm gonna load from client. It puts my levels, my 71 strength and everything. And if I want to test with prayer, I can enable some prayers, some offensive prayers, for example, this one. And if I enable everything, I can see the DPS and the time to kill of that monster. So if you want to do the calculations, if you want to see, for example, if I switch weapons, if I put the helm of Nate's not on and I go to equipment, load, how does my DPS change? It adds like 0.1 because it has a strength bonus and stuff like that. So you can see how much everything changes when you switch. It's a calculator. You don't have to do the math yourself, and it's excellent. I recommend it for everyone who tries to optimize their Slayer farming runs, for example. Let me see. DPS calculator, emote clue items. Emote clue items is, let me see it. It's over here. Emote clue items. This is a big menu, and I don't really use it that much. There are some items that are used in clues, basically for emotes. But I don't use this menu and with the stashes that much. What I use instead are the little icons. For example, if I go to my armor tab, I have a lot of random junk that is taking up space, but I still keep it because if you see the little icons in the top right, this is the easy scroll, this is the medium scroll. They're being used in some scrolls. So if you do a lot of scrolls, you found a bronze chain body and you want to throw it on the ground, but it will notify you even in your inventory or in shops. Hey, you can use it. So I'm gonna just keep it for the scrolls that I want to do. So I basically every time I have everything I need inside my bank for scrolls, for clue scrolls. And if you want to see all the stashes, I also recommend it has sort by difficulty, I think. Let me see, by name. Oh, okay, show difficulties. I'm showing the easy difficulties sorted by the amount of slots and stuff like that. If you want to fill up your stashes to save up bank space for all those clues. Okay. Let me go to the next one. So we have emote clue items, entity hider. For example, here's a player. I'm clicking on entity hider and he's disappeared. If you're doing leagues or you're in the grand exchange or in crowded areas, you can basically enable this one. You see, the player is disappearing. In some niche situations, I have it here and I have it favorited because it can be very good. It can save your ass in some situations, especially at league start. When there are monsters around or bosses, you want to hide the players and focus on the action. And use entity hiders. It can also hide other annoying stuff like objects and other NPCs if you want, like, I don't know, rats or whatever that are on the ground. FPS Control. This one is very interesting and I use it for AFKing and saving battery life when I'm on my laptop. So how does it work? It can, I have it enabled to show me my FPS in the top right. Another mode is showing me the ping to the server, which is also useful. I will show you later. But basically it can limit the global FPS and it can limit the FPS when unfocused to 15 FPS. So if I go somewhere else, you see the FPS is dropping and it's very low to save up battery time when I'm chopping wood or something. But I only have it enabled in some situations when I'm AFKing on another screen or something. And I recommend clicking Draw FPS Indicator because it's useful to see your FPS. Okay. FPS Control. Now, one of the most important plugins when you're having a lot of plugins is called not Fragment presets. Sorry, it should be plugin presets. I confused it. This one is for leagues. It allows you to quick switch plugins by doing a filter. And right now I'm not playing leagues, but I do recommend this one to install it. There are some, just to search your current league on the plugin hub and you will find useful stuff. Fragment presets is one of them. Plugin presets, I should just cover it before I go. So plugin presets, what does it do? So let me override my settings with the HD one. So I can switch between different plugins and not just switches, the internal configuration. For example, I have a standard definition one, which I just click like this, and it turns everything low quality. I have a HD one, I have a battle one. Yes, I want to enable the battle one, which shows me more bigger squares for where my true tile is and where I'm going. I have a league one, which enables some league content, and I also have an AFK one that I can enable with some optimizations, and I can go back to the HD one. So everything looks the most. And also whatever you set up inside carries over, so it saves everything. And I really recommend it. I think you can also share it with your friends if you have a similar setup, but I recommend building up your own plugin ground from the ground up. Okay, so that I wanted to cover this one before going further, basically. Okay, let's go back to where we were. We're at fragment presets. Now at GPU. GPU and the 117 HD beta are using, both of them are mods that enable your GPU. For example, if I disable both of them, the HD plugin and GPU, everything is, let me open FPS control so we can see our FPS. It's 13 FPS. No, it's actually 30. So we're just using our CPU right now. We're using our CPU and it's not very optimized. But if we enable the GPU plugin, we're going to use our GPU now. And it's much faster because I have a GPU in the modern PC. But if you're enabling the HD mod, it's going to disable GPU. And if you're enabling GPU, it's going to disable the HD mod. So you have to choose one. Both of them are using the GPU. They're mutually exclusive. I usually use it one as a low quality version and one as a high quality version. the plugin preset standard definition, that's what it has inside. Let me dismiss the drunken dwarf. No drunks, thank you. So GPU is the engine innovation that everybody loves. Now, another plugin that is much loved is the ground items. Basically, what it shows you, it shows items on the ground. Is valuable. Yes. And it shows also shows loot beams if you enable it. Valuable items or items that you have filtered, if you can press Alt to see items that are already on the ground. For example, I want spades because they're very important to me to see, so I can just enable them, or I can just hide them. You can set up inside the ground items plugin thresholds. I have like some low thresholds because I'm playing Iron Man. Like I see everything up to 5k upwards, so I can pick it up with loot beam and everything. So it's very useful if you want to see. This one is less valuable, but yeah. You can see all the ground items. And also, you can hide the items that you hide. Let me see. I like to have notifications and deprioritize menu hidden items. For example, if I have a seed, I drop it, and I click on this, I'm not even going to pick it up. I cannot pick it up. I have to right click and take tomato seed because it's so low value. It's useful for bones and stuff like that that you don't want to pick up and you want to just click to that tile. So this is my current configuration over here. Okay. And now Herblore Recipes. This one is a very fun mod. So if I go over any herbs, which are actually I should say herbs. My English accent isn't the best. It shows you what it's used for as a primary or secondary. And also if you go to potions, it shows you what was needed to make one. So it's very useful. You don't need to look up the wiki all the time. So I recommend. This is, I think, non-standard. It's called Herblore Recipes. Now we have idle notifier. It sends a notification when you're idle. And I have it right now at 1 second, but I should probably put it at 5 seconds or something when you're doing crabs. Oh, let me disable the FPS control because it's limiting my FPS. Much better. So yeah, the idle notifier can notify you in many ways, but to make the notifications be the best as possible, I recommend we jump to the official RuneLite configuration plugin. This one is not uninstallable. This is basically the settings menu of RuneLite. I should have started with this. So you can see you cannot disable this. This one comes with RuneLite and it has a lot of configurations, but the ones that I want to focus on that are non-default is the notification settings. First of all, I disabled the tray icon so I don't get spammed with Windows messages that are very annoying and I don't like those ones. And the request focus, I put it on force. So for example, if I have my RuneScape minimized like this, and for example, I'm checking out the wiki or doing something else, and I'm chopping trees, it's gonna just pop out, and I can just click the next tree and I go back, and it pops out and I go back. So if you could put it on force, that's what's gonna happen. And the notification sound, I have it off because just the fact that it pops out happens is enough for me. And I also like game message notification, and I also like send notifications when focused. And I don't like notification flash. It flashes your whole screen red. It's very epileptic. I don't like it. But send notifications when focused is very useful. For example, I have other plugins that I will show you later. For example, I have a farming plugin when it shows me when my contract is done or something. And I want to be notified. And I also have another plugin that puts notification in my chat. You received a valuable drop and stuff. Your farming contract is complete. Your kitten is hungry. NPC aggression has expired. I will show you later. And it's useful because when I'm AFKing, I want to see what was that notification. I don't remember. I have 100 things that could have been. So I just check my chat. I will show you that one later. So basically, the RuneLite is mostly default except the notification settings, which are important to me and everyone. Okay, let's go back to where we were. We're still in the top 50, trying to go as fast as I can, but it's gonna be a long video. Idle notifier, we were there. Improved tile indicators. So there is something called the normal tile indicators, which works fine, but I like the improved version because it can let you customize it even more. I have it very discreet in the HD one. I just have a gray square and a gray square with yellow to see where I'm going. It's useful in combat and situations, and many people use it. You can have it very obvious, like I have it in my combat. Let me save everything. That's how you save again with what changes you did. It doesn't auto sync in plugin presets. So if I go to my battle one, this one is configured differently, so I can see it even easier. Okay, so let's go back. Improved tile indicator. It gives you more options over the normal tile indicators that I have disabled. Okay, interact highlight. Interact highlight is very useful for when you take actions. For example, you see I'm going to that NPC and it highlights it in yellow. I want to use the compost, it highlights it. And when I click it, it remains red highlighted. So I can do it like this. So you can know what kind of tree did you click on. Did you click on the right tree? Yes, I did. I clicked on the big one. Or on which NPC? I want to talk to that guy. I like it. Some people might like without it, but I enjoy it. And you can customize exactly. I think I have it like this. I have show on hover on both of them because I like to hover on things and see them highlighted. Okay, let me drink something because we have a long way to go. Interact highlights. Okay, inventory setups. This one, I don't use it that often, but it can be, many people love it. So you can see inventory setups. I have here, for example, when I do Mahogany Homes minigame, I have an inventory setup. You can save your inventory over here. So you can click view on the setup and it has your inventory. And this one can also work in the bank. So if you click on this one, enable bank filtering on the saved one, and you go in your bank and you click on view, it's going to show you exactly the items that are missing and you can just click them. And if I go for the Shades of Morton inventory that I have here, it also has duplicate items. It uses similar code to the layout one, but it's custom and you can create a lot of them, a lot of plugins for your herb runs, tree runs. Many people use it. You can enable it from here. You can also enable it from the right click menu over here on your equipment. I can open setup, for example, fashion. And this is what I'm currently wearing because Fashionscape. And it shows you what's missing and everything else. Just a word of notice, if you're inside of bank tag, let me disable this one. Okay, if you're inside the left bank tags and you click show, it's not gonna work because this is considered a filter as well. So you should click on your main tags somewhere and then click show. I found this out the hard way. So you have to be on the top, the standard layouts. Otherwise, these ones override whatever you have left. I want to see travel. And if you don't want to see it anymore, either click on a tag or just close current setup or just click on the menu. Very useful. If you're running out of, the best feature of that one is that you can just click add a new inventory, test, and if you can check it, it saved everything I have without having to configure it manually. That's the best use of this one when you have many loadouts. And also, if you want to change, I want to put my helm on, you can right click and update slot from search, and I can type in Nate's Knot and replace it. I just want to replace one thing without having to switch my entire inventory. And now I have my helm over there. You can also tweak it. Another thing, you can enable fuzzy. What is it called? Ignore order. If you click on this one, it's going to ignore order. So if you have it like this, it still counts the 14 law runes. It doesn't matter if it's not in the same spot. But if you have a PvP setup, you might actually care about the order. So that's why it's there. Let me delete this one. So this is inventory setups. It's not coming in RuneLite. You have to install it, like many of the things over here. Now, item prices. Item prices is a nice plugin that I also have it. Show prices. I disabled the hide tooltips on inventory because I like to see my inventory, how much everything costs. The GE price and the high alchemy price, I can see it when I hover over an item. Very useful. It works in the bank, it works in shops. I also enabled it to work in my inventory. I want to see the money of everything. It's very useful information. Item prices, item stats. So this one is doing the rest. So if I go on the battle staff, it shows me the weight, the bonuses, and the difference if I equip it. Very, very useful. Saves you a lot of math that you have to do. Otherwise, I can put this one down and check them side by side for the vanilla bonuses that they do, because I have nothing in my hand. And that's how I do it most of the time. The Dragon Mace is plus 60 crush accuracy, stuff like that. The Dragon Flower, which I like to say. Okay. Where is it? Key remapping. This is what I used to remap the F keys. It's basically everything is default. Yeah, and WASD can be used. Make sure if you're typing something, I press enter. WASD doesn't work anymore, so just press enter and then it will work again. Much more ergonomic if you have this key remapping plugin enabled, and I think it's default. So yeah, just use the 1, 2, 3 and tilde for escape, my recommendation. Loot tracker, very useful, very loved, and everybody complains how dry they were. So the loot tracker right now tracks everything, and all the recent interactions and stuff that you killed appears at the top. And this is like my lifetime, how many times I pickpocketed Master Farmer, chests that I opened, bird nests that I opened, imps that I killed. And it also calculates the gold of everything based on current GE prices. Very useful. You can also right click to reset a specific monster if you want to see next runs, but I usually never reset. I keep everything, and it's synced between different devices because we have our RuneLite account. Okay, let me check something quick. Okay, I wanted to check that I'm actually streaming and recording before I go further, because this is going to be a long video. Okay. Key remapping loot tracker, low detail and max hit. Let's go with low detail. If you go on various areas, there are some random stuff like this grass on the ground that can, on small machines like a laptop, it can take up your CPU. So if I enable low detail, it removes everything and it's even faster. And on my standard definition plugin preset, I have this one enabled. I recommend it. It removes a lot of detail, but yeah, some people even play with it. They like the smooth version of RuneScape. Max hit, I have it in my combat one. It basically calculates your max hit and what happens if I place my helm, my max hit increases by 1. Next max hit, it shows you if you hover. In 5 strength levels, so if I drink a potion, I have an extra max hit. In 8 strength bonus, or 8% prayer bonus. It does a lot of math that you usually have to do it yourself. And I usually enable it only for combat. So I have it in my combat plugin. Very useful. I think it's also non-default. You have to install it from Plugin Hub. Menu entry swapper and menu swapper extended. They both work together. Basically, it changes a lot of options. For example, we have a Jane over here, and usually you had to right click and go contract, but now the normal option is brought higher, so you just normal click for the contract. And my tomatoes are dying over there, so sorry for the OCD, I'm focusing on the video. I have plenty of seeds at the moment. So these two. I don't think I customized them in any way. I mean, I did a bit, so let me just show it. but nothing important. You can just choose whatever options you want inside. The extender has more options that can change even more items. They're specific items, some Temporos item, NPC, whatever. It changes a specific thing. Okay, minimap. So the minimap that is in RuneLite is very useful because it's like an overlay, and it has even more information and more features. Quick jump like this. You can resize it, and I usually like it like this, so I can see my character at the edge, and I can do my stuff, and it doesn't close, and I can see whatever I want. You can also click on a transport icon, and it shows you where it goes, which is very useful. And so many other things are inside. It also shows you if you go underground, it goes to the map. If you click on that, and you can close it. It also has a right click, I think, instance map from a different mod. So this one works with a scroll wheel. If you have like multiple floors of a dungeon, it can be useful to see some extra stuff with right click instance map, but that's a different mod. I just wanted to mention it. And also everything that you have in RuneLite, if you press Alt, you can drag it and have it wherever you want. And there are snapping tiles. There are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can snap the map over here. So even if I resize, the map will stay. Otherwise, if I put it like here and I resize, the map stays fixed. But if I snap it, if I snap it to this one, it's gonna stay glued to that area of the screen. And I like it over there. Okay. So the minimap, very useful. Mouse tooltips. So this one, it adds tooltips to your mouse. So I can see exchange tool leprechaun. I know what I'm doing. Very useful. I also disabled spellbook tooltips because it already has a built-in tooltip. It was too much. Mouse tooltips is great. Everybody likes it. NPC Aggression Timer. So this one is interesting. It appeared many times. So NPC Aggression Timer, you can also enable timer. You can see in 8 minutes, I will become, the NPCs in the area around me will become unaggressive. So what does this do? If you're farming a lot, wait, as you can see, this is the line. I enabled it, the aggressive color, to be very, very faint. So it doesn't bother me. Otherwise I can make it like this, you can see. But I recommend putting it very low opacity, so you can barely see it, only if you really look for it. And if I go outside this area, it resets the timer. So when you're fighting dragons, baby dragons defended by their mother dragons, you can idle 10 minutes in that area, and then the dragons won't attack you, won't be aggressive, and you can kill dragons. But if you're fighting crabs, after 10 minutes the crabs will become, they won't hit you anymore, so you can AFK fight. So you can, this one shows you how far you have to go in order to become aggressive again. And it's very useful, and I like to have it more subtle like this, without the timer, and only when they become unaggressive the color is very strong, a strong yellow. Okay, let's go back. Okay, NPC Indicators. So NPC Indicators, it highlights NPCs on screen and on map, and I really like how you do it. You shift right click on an NPC. So this is the right click menu, and this is the shift right click menu. And it says tag all and draw above, so I'm just gonna tag all the garden suppliers so I can see them. And it also draws above them the name. And for example, in my combat plugin, I also have something else. If I go to my combat, my plugin presets, and I'm gonna just enable this one, and I enable, it also shows the hall, it's called, the clickable area, you see? For some monsters, I can click between her legs, and I'm just gonna click her again. And also it highlights the tile, that's how I set it up. But yes. So let me just untag her, so it's not When you're fighting monsters, it's easy to discern between the two monsters that you're fighting or something. Okay, NPC Indicators, NPC Overhead Dialog. This is something that I just like it because of how it looks. For example, I'm talking to Jane. What's my current farming contract? It appears above my head. Usually it's just on the bottom left. And now I basically can read in the middle of the screen instead of here. And it's pretty fun. NPC Overhead Dialog. I recommend it. But not all people will like it. Object markers enable marking of objects using the shift key. And you can mark, I think, a particular object. And I think I have a tile marker somewhere. Mark. Ground marker it's called. This one I should probably cover it together. You can mark tiles. People use it for boss fights, so you can know which tile to go on. I have it very discreet, but more people have it very colored, the tiles that they want to, and you can unmark them in case you need to pay attention to something. Okay, so that was okay. Mouse tooltips, object markers, plugin presets. I covered it, very useful. If you want, prayer shows various information about prayer. As you can see, my prayer icon, it shows me how much time remaining if I enable it. The prayer bonus that I currently have. And from another plugin, it also shows the quick setup prayers on hover, which I like. And I also enabled it to show me this overhead indicator, which if you look at my character over here, it allows me to do this in a visual way. Also, if you want to know how to prayer flick, just double click once, so it's enabled. And then when it's at the end, double click. When the bar is at the end, you see? Before this plugin, it was pretty difficult to get the timing right, but after practicing with the plugin, it was pretty easy for me. Just double click when the tick is at the end, basically, and it works. Okay, my cat has grown. Time for 200 death runes, but later on. And I have pray flick location for both, because I like to see in both ways. Very useful. It helps you learn prayer flicking. Probability calculator. You want to know how dry you are? You can put 0.1 or 1 out of 256, and you killed 800 monsters. Chance to get 0 drops is 5%, 4.3%. Okay, now you can complain and post on Reddit. And it gives you a chance to get at least 1 drop, chance to get, I got 10 drops in those kills. How lucky was I? 0.14% to get 10 of those. Wow, I was very lucky. You can use the probability calculator in the sidebar. Very useful. It's not standard in RuneLite. You have to get it from the plugin hub. Okay. What else? Skill calculator, status bars. Let me see. Where was I? Probability calculator. Okay. Quest helper. Everybody loves it or hates it. Quest helper. I don't need to tell you much about it. I have it default, I think. Roof removal. So roof removal is very interesting. So I like to, there is an option to remove all roofs, but I don't like how it looks. I like to see the buildings. So it only removes the roof when you hover over with your mouse. Very useful. Install it from the plugin hub today. I like how it looks. RuneLite, the main RuneLite configuration. I showed you something about notifications, but you can tweak it more. The skill calculator enables the skill calculator panel. This one comes by default, and it's very useful. For example, I have it here, how many potions until 38 to make prayer potions, because Herblore is my Herblore and rune crafting is my lowest skills. So I want to get to prayer potions. How many actions? I need 200. I need to make 200 defense potions, or 228 energy potions. And I'm gonna just do energy potions because they're useful. And it shows you how many. It does the calculation for you. Saves a lot of time, management time. Skill calculators, status bars. Draw status bars next to player's inventory showing current HP and prayer. Currently they're hidden while out of combat. But if I go in combat, I'm gonna see hide. I'm gonna hide after combat. I'm gonna put 0. So this is what I usually see. I don't have the prayer one because I don't like the blue. I just have my health. And it's very useful because if I'm eating a strawberry or anything, it's gonna show me how much it's gonna eat. And that's how I have it. But I like to hide it when I'm not in combat. 20 ticks after combat, it gets hidden. And that's it. Status bars. It also has one for prayer. I can make one for prayer. Or run energy or special attack, but usually people use it for prayer. But I usually pay attention to the orb, so I know how much prayer I have. I don't need a whole bar. Okay. And timers. The next mod is timers. Timers is absolutely excellent if you're a farmer boy like me with 62 farming in 14 days of playtime. So basically it's over here, timers. You can set up custom timers, like I want to calculate how much the time to kill of some monster, or how much time until my cat, blah blah blah. Here you have the overview. It basically clocks everything in your farming tabs. These are my special patches, how much until the compost is done. It starts a timer. My birdhouses are ready, and I forgot to put seeds in one of them. And my herb patches for my herb runs. It's a farmer's best friend, basically. My hardwood trees, my normal trees, when I'm doing tree runs, my fruit trees, it shows everything. And also I have it enabled to show notifications, and it's very useful to have notifications. And let me see, notify chat notifications. Let me make it, this should be in top 50 because it's so useful. Chat notifications. So basically when my crops are done, it's also gonna notify me in chat, because I want to have a log of everything. And I also have NPC chat dialog, so everything that an NPC said is also logged in the chat. It spams the chat a bit, but I like it, because what did she say? Oh, strawberries. Okay, I have it in my chat. I need to grow strawberries, because I usually spacebar pressed and I read everything over here to not waste time. I don't want to miss out on some quest lore or something. So very useful. So yeah, the timers is one of the best ones, and you can enable a lot of timers. The world map, enhance the world map to display additional information, and it comes together with the minimap and world map. They're very useful. XP globes, as you've seen, I can use them. It shows me, it appears at the top whenever I get XP, and it shows me how many actions left of the same kind to get the next level. If I'm doing limp wort, I need 1,000 of those actions or something like that. How much XP? And it stays there for like 10 seconds. Okay, and the last one is loot table. Loot table is very useful. Let's see, I need a monster. It's basically this one. I can just search for one, dragon, blue dragon, search. And it shows the loot tables without having to go on the wiki. But you can also right click on a monster, and I have an option. I'm searching for an imp, but I'm not seeing one. I have an option to right click and loot table, and it types the name of the monster so I can see what are the chances. Usually when I'm exploring, I right click loot table on a lot of monsters to see if anything good is inside them. So because I'm a returning player, I'm learning the game like that. So that was basically the top 50. These are the ones that I highly recommend, and they are really useful. The only thing I might not recommend too much is like the quest helper and the clue scroll helper. If you want to experience the game, only use them when you're stuck. And that's basically it. Now we're going to the top 200. If you were only interested in the top 50 and you are tired already, just stop here. But if you also want to see some other mods that you can customize, I recommend sticking through. I'm just going to be very comprehensive as I can. So we're going to start with AFK Countdown. Very easy. has a 5-minute timer for when you log out. For my AFK setup, my preset, plugin preset, I have this one on. And I noticed that even if you move your mouse over the screen, it resets. So you don't need to click. I didn't know that. I know because I use this one, AFK Countdown. Active prices in trade. So if I'm trading with a guy, I'm gonna have active prices in the trade so I don't get scammed, like in the old days. Agility. This one, it comes by default. It shows a lot of agility information. Ammo. If you want to see your ammo in the top right, enable this one. Animation smoothing. This is non-standard. I got it from the plugin hub, and it smooths the animations. So basically, if you're doing anything, it's gonna be much more smoother. It uses more keyframes in between. Annoyance Mute. This one is pretty interesting. It stops various sounds. For example, the tree chopping sound. If you're AFKing, you only hear when the tree falls, and when you're chopping, you're not. The chop is. I should be like this. Yeah. Or any other annoyance sound. You can customize it from here. If you like it to be more interesting, do it like this. Anti-drag. Basically, I have a 10 milliseconds or whatever that is. Let's put it on 20 for anti-drag, because if I'm clicking too fast on various things, I don't want to drag it. You can see it takes, actually 10 milliseconds is better. I have to wait a bit before it starts dragging, so you don't miss drag stuff. Usually for PvP people, but it's useful to have in general. Anti-drag, but with a low threshold to not be annoying. Attack styles shows your current attack style as an overlay. So for example, if I go right now, it doesn't show aggressive ones. I only configured it. Let me go inside to warn me for attack and defense. So if I have it accurate, if you have a pure, you want to be very careful to not get experience. So you stay at one defense. So this one can help you, warn you. You can also have it like this, put it in the center of your screen. So when you put it like this, you see it. Warning, you're on defensive. You're gonna stop being a pure. You're gonna make a mistake. So yeah, you can have it like this. But I have it snapped over here because I'm not a pure. This is my hardcore main, Iron Man. Okay, I don't really have a main, only this hardcore. Animation smoothing, anti-drag, attack styles, balloon transport system. You can enable it, and it shows how many logs for 1 minute. I put it for 1 minute to show me the logs that are inside the balloon transportation system, because you need logs to fly with that. Bank equipment stat filter. This is when you have a big bank with many items. I have it currently disabled because it adds another plugin tab, but it's very useful. So let me see, bank equipment stat. I want all the items that give me slash defense for my head slot. Let's say for my body slot. You need to open your bank. Oh, okay, because I just enabled it. Now it remembered everything. These are all the items sorted by what gives me the most slash protection in that slot. So if you have a lot, so my best one is a rune plate body for plus 80. It's very useful. Or I want, but you have to have a lot of items so you can quickly search. It's like a bank search feature, but for stats. Otherwise, I don't know how you do it. So you do it with this. Very useful. What's my best stab attack weapon? Let's see. It's my dragon mace at the moment. I need to do monkey madness to get the scimitar. But yeah. So this is bank equipment stat filtering. You have to install it from the plugin hub. Banked experience. Oh, this one should be top 50. But it was uninstalled for some reason. I covered that one. It shows how much you can process experience in your bank. And there are a lot of plugins that help with a minigame or a boss, and I'm just gonna skip them, okay? Like Barbarian Assault, it gives you some information in Barbarian Assault, stuff like that. Barrows, it helps you in Barrows. Better Skill Tooltips. Better Skill Tooltips is useful because it allows you to see more information on your tooltips for your skills. Next level, remaining XP. There's also another default one called XP Tracker, which tracks XP. You can reset. I can reset my Hunter, my Herblore XP, or reset completely. I can add to canvas, so I can see in the top left or wherever you have it an overview of how your strength experience is going. Or you can also add it from here. Right click, remove from canvas or add from canvas. Very useful. This is the XP tracker. I got sidetracked a bit, but it's similar to the skill tooltips one. And it also shows this little bar, as you can see. I think it's probably this one or another one adds the status bar. Blast Furnace helps in Blast Furnace, Blast Mine in the Blast Mine, boosts information. This one helps you see, for example, your potions or any stat boosts. So if I drink a potion, it shows in the top left my current strength, and it shows everything. Very useful. Or when you get debuffed, boost information instead of having to go here. It shows everything that you have. Boss timers is boss timers. Camera expands the zoom limit, very useful. You can also, I think, expand the draw limit. No, that one is expanded in the RuneLite. In this one, you expand the draw limit, I think. Or no, actually in the HD plugin, you can expand the draw limit. Yes, draw distance. It's at 50 right now, but you can make it even higher if you want to see even further. Okay. Camera smoothing. This one I really love. Camera smoothing allows you to drag and do everything else, zoom including, in a much smoother way. It uses more CPU and GPU, but if you have a gaming PC, it's fine. The cannon, it helps you with the Dwarf multi-cannon. Chamber of Xerix helps with the minigame. Chat channels improves the chat functionality, it's better. So it's fun to have it. Chat colors also improves it. Chat commands, many people have it installed because they're playing with RuneLite, so you can do like level wood cutting, and it's gonna turn it into, in chat, the level WC. It's gonna replace it with your actual lookup woodcutting experience. So you can communicate with people. It's a very social plugin. Chat commands. It has more stuff. If you look inside, there are the kill count, personal best, and stuff like that. So you can communicate with people in a fast way of your accomplishments and how much life you spent in RuneScape. Chat sounds. It gives me sounds for everything in the chat or private messages. Collection logs. It helps you see the collection log. Combat level is very interesting. It shows you your precise combat level. I'm close to 79 now. And how much you need, what various stats you need for the next combat level. Very useful also for pures. For example, I can train ranged and magic for a long while and remain the same combat level, as you can see. And one prayer puts me over the limit. Collection combat level, cooking. This one tracks your cooking, XP per hour. Minigame mod for Corporal Beast. Current world is just a little plugin that you can enable to see your current world if you're doing world hopping for some reason. I have it. If I want to use it, let me see current world. Custom cursor, you can enable custom cursors. DPS counter, I only have it enabled for bosses, only boss damage. It can be useful in a party. Daily task indicator, this one can notify you for when you have claimable sand or essences or whatever that are daily tasks. It can be useful, or battle staffs or stuff like that. Default world, you can enable a default world where you want to see. NPC aggression expired, and I got a notification. Diary requirements, this is very useful. Diary requirements is by default, and when you click here, it shows you like you need 7 Slayer for this, and it crosses it off if you have it already. Otherwise, you don't see the levels over here in the diaries. You have to figure them out. Discord, you have Discord integration, DriftNet, more information on phishing, emojis, adds emojis, equipment inspector. This is useful. You can right click a guy. I have two extra options, equipment and lookup. That's a different mod. But equipment one, it shows you what, right now she's basically naked. Shows you what she has or the player has. I don't see another player. I see this guy. Equipment. It says what he has and how much everything costs and the total. Right now everything is unobtainable, so the total is very low. But yeah, very useful. Let me see. Equipment inspector, essence pouch shows how many essences are in a essence pouch. Very useful if you want to see which one is still enabled. Examine shows additional examine information. If I right click examine, it shows also the price. It's useful, but I have the hover one recently, so I can basically disable this one. Examine tooltip, it shows examine tooltips over everything, which I like in RuneScape 3. Exchange logger, it shows a log in a text log of everything on the grand exchange that you sold. Right now I'm playing an Iron Man, but it can be useful for some people. Fairy ring, it shows fairy rings on the map. Very, very useful. And it shows the code. Fishing, it shows fishing information. I also configured this one to display only current fished fish. So it shows only, if you're fishing lobsters, it only shows lobsters. And it hides the icons for the others. It's to make it easier on you. Fossil Island, this is an optimization plugin. It hides a lot of shit on Fossil Island. Friend list, this one improves the friend list interface. And friend notes, I really like it because I can right click and add a note to a guy because I forget who the guy was. This one is the crab buddy. I was doing crabs with him and I had a good time chatting with him. I added a note, he's the crab buddy. Ah, that guy. So I remember. Okay. And I also like to tell people how I tag them as to make them laugh a bit. Grand Exchange, I don't use Grand Exchange on Iron Man, but it improves the Grand Exchange information. Very useful. Green Thumb, this one, it shows a lot of information if you hover over seeds. Very useful. It has its uses, its growth time, its experience, and stuff like that. Very useful if you're a farmer boy like me. Ground markers should be top 50. So I think this was an oversight. It shows items on the ground and it highlights it. And it's basically like an item filter. If I want to filter all of these seeds, I press Alt. I don't want to see potato seeds, onion seeds, marigold seeds, marentil, tomato, whatever. So I can hide them. So ground items are good and very configurable. Okay. What else? Green Thumb, Herblore, it's for the minigame. HiScore, this one enables the lookup feature. I want to look up this player and I can see she's level 100. It also accounts for virtual levels. She's an Iron Man, holy shit. Okay, Hello Kitty is almost a maxed Iron Man. Impressive, okay. 110 virtual level of HP and stuff like that. Okay. And we can also check out of curiosity if she equipment inspector, where is the player lookup? Probability calculator. I get lost a bit. HiScore. It's called actually HiScore. I wanted to check. Oh man, she's hardcore. Okay. She didn't die. Cool. Oh man, so much grind. Look at the boss tab. Holy shit, what the fuck? 2000 on Vorkat. Okay, never mind. Let's go back to our business over here. I just met Hello Kitty. Okay. Okay, we were back here at HiScore. High Alc Profit is something that you can enable that shows you high Alc Profit. For example, it draws a green outline over an item. If you can see, my mace has a high Alc Profit if you buy them and alc them and sell them. Okay. So yeah, if you basically use Grand Exchange, it's useful. Otherwise, not that much. The Hunter helps you show the state of your traps. The Impling Finder plugin is interesting. So basically, I can go where are Implings. Let's find Implings. Impling Finder. You can fetch dragon Implings and see in which world somebody found one. But I recommend installing it so that you can report on Implings that you find. For example, I don't have the level for dragon Implings, but I can see one from time to time. So I'm gonna this plugin will report it for everyone to see. So it's a useful community crowdsource effort. Impling Finder. Also, the plugin called Implings makes the Implings more visible if you want it. The info panel is like for information that I have disabled. I don't really need it, but if you're new, you might find it useful. The instance map, this is the right-click instance map that can be useful with a scroll wheel for multiple floors to see how to navigate. Interface styles can change your style of your interface, but I have the classic one. Inventory grid, tags, and viewer. The inventory viewer is more for, let me put it like this, inventory viewer. If you have a different layout, but I have the classic layout. Inventory tags is very useful. You can right click this and let me enable it. Right click and configure tags, and you can make something appear in a different color if you're doing PvP mostly, but I don't as a hardcore Iron Man. Something I want to also tell you, I don't know which mod adds this. Probably the menu extender something, right click option extender. You can right click on your inventory and configure left click. For example, I want to be able to drop limp words. I clicked configured left click and I click on drop, and then I click on save, and now the default option is drop. So I just left click to drop. And the other stuff, or my Ardoon cloak, I can remove it, and instead of where I can make it have on left click the monastery teleport, stuff like that. Okay, inventory viewer, item charges, it shows charges on items. For example, you can see it has 5 uses, my dig site pendant. Kingdom of Miscellanea, it shows approval on Miscellanea in the top right when you are on the island. Kitten tracker is something I've been using a lot. So basically it shows you how much time until you have to feed your cat and how much time until it grows. It tracks that for you. It's better than the timers. You have to do manual timers, and this one is automatic. The current library gives you minigame information. Last seen online, it's useful. As you can see, I've seen this guy 9 days ago. He stopped playing, stuff like that. It tracks how much have you seen him. Lifesaver, this one is a bit redundant as there is the plugin called idle notifications that you can change, but this one is easy for hardcores. Just put a HP here and you get notified. You're on low health, watch out. Lifesaver. It helped me a bit in like 2 situations. Login screen, it enhances the login screen. Minigame plugin. Magic Secateurs, this one is funny. It reminds you to place your magic Secateur. So if you have it in your inventory, but you don't have it equipped, you have a equip Secateurs in the top right. So yeah, magic Secateurs, I have it like that. If it's in your inventory, it will warn you. Metronome, you can use it for tick manipulation. Mining, it shows mining information. Minigame for motherload. Music, this one improves the music one by letting you search for what you already have unlocked and enabling the search. Newsfeed, I have it disabled. I usually check Reddit. Nightmare Zone, it's a minigame plugin. Notes is probably I should have it as favorites, to be honest, but it's one of my most used ones. I can take notes. So basically it's by default and it's very useful. I recommend using it. Have separators or something. I have like my main goal. This is my video setup that I'm doing right now. My quests, my dailies, some side goals, my money making methods, my big goals that I want to reach, a lot of them, my AFK farming ideas, my fun goals, and some extra notes. I've used a lot of notes when reaching 1.2 total level. Okay. NPC Dialog Log. Let me go back. So music, newsfeed, nightmare zone, notes. NPC Dialog Log is not for everyone, but I like it. It shows all the conversations in the log when I want to check them. The OSRS Wiki crowdsourcing and the advanced version I have them installed just to contribute to the wiki. It pulls data to the wiki, and the wiki is one of the best wikis I've ever seen, to be honest. And I played a lot of games. It has so much information, the OSRS wiki. And I will show you a plugin later that works with the wiki. One tick flick metronome. It does what it says. You see at the end of the tick, it does a click click. So how to do one tick flick. But I just learned it using the visual cues. It's easy once you know. Opponent information when you're fighting stuff, it shows name and hit points. Optimal quest guide. This one, if you don't want to use a quest helper, you can install this plugin and it's pretty good. So it adds a different one, optimal quest guide, which is everything on the wiki, and it has a nice display of the requirements, the level requirements. So you can always browse through this, and you can right click open wiki guide if you are stuck. So if you want to experience the quests without the quest helper, the optimal quest, what's it called, guide is your extension. It's a very user friendly, and you can search happy questing. But I use the plugin because I need the XP rates at the moment. The party plugin, you can enable parties with random people you meet or other stuff. The pathfinder one, it can help you, I don't know, do pathfinding. It also works on the map. So if I want, no, it doesn't work on the map. That's a different one. This one, if you want to see exact path. Or how you're gonna go. Just have a pathfinder. Minigame plugin, pest control, pickpocket info, player indicators. It highlights players. It also draws names. It's good for PvP. It also draws tiles if you want to see a player and not be bamboozled by a chaos druid, which is a guy just having Zamorakian outfit. Okay. Player indicators, player outline. This one is if you are in an area with many players, you can enable player outline, and I have a heavy gray player outline, which makes me more obvious which player am I. Okay, player owned house. It shows some information. Poison, it shows poison damage, how much it's gonna be. Prifdinnas, it basically removes scenery for Prifdinnas, but I don't have it unlocked yet. But many people have FPS issues in Prifdinnas, so you can enable this mod. It's an optimizer. Puzzle solver, it solves puzzles from various quests. Disable this if you want to actually do the puzzles. I remember doing the Sudoku puzzle from Ali in Al Kharid, and that was actually fun. So you can miss out on some content. PvP performance tracker, if you're doing PvP and you really want to see where you missed the mark, enable this one, it will show you information. Many PvPers, PKers do it. Pyramid plunder, it shows info. Quick prayer overview. This one enables the quick prayers that I have, so I can see them. You see I have those 3 enabled, the melee prayers. So this one shows me without having to right click, set up prayers, and see what I have, which I like. Random events, it notifies you when you get a random event, and also the random events from other people are, the options are hidden for them, so you're not distracted. Regeneration meter, so when you take damage, your heart will show you like when it regenerates, like this. Report button, it replaces the report button with the current time. So this is useful when you're losing track of time. I have the time over there, okay? Because you do lose track of time in this game. Regeneration meter, Rogue's Den information minigame, run energy, shows run energy information. My weight, without having to open this one to see my weight, and how much run time I have, 1 minute. It shows that. Rune pouch, shows the contents of your rune pouch, useful when rune crafting. Runecraft, shows minimap icons for and click boxes for abyssal rifts. It also shows the altars, very useful. Screen markers, this one is I don't recommend it if you want to be skillful at the game, but it's good for practicing at the beginning. For example, you want to know where is my 3 prayers, you can enable a new marker, and you can do it like this, and you know which ones, and you're finished. And no matter where you are, you can see the prayers. People use it also for PKing, but it's a bit ass. It removes the skill, but you can use it for practicing the exact areas, and you can hide them. So yeah, those are screen markers. I might just have it enabled for some battle. Where are shortest path? Screen markers, screenshot. Enable the manual and automatic taking of screenshots. When this one enabled, all of your achievements, when you level up, when you do something, when you die, whatever, it will take a screenshot. So you can have screenshots for later use. Shattered Relic XP, it shows an overlay during the current league, which is the Shattered Relic League. It's very useful, it shows your relics over here near the chat. Many streamers use it. Shooting stars, this is something I liked and I used it for great effect. It shows the current reported shooting stars. It's like a crowdsource plugin. So if I'm using the player-owned house telescope and I'm identifying a shooting star, I will report it automatically. The plugin will report it for all people to use. So this is what other people have seen that have the plugin installed. So it's a crowdsourcing effort. Please, more people use it. It's very fun. And shooting stars are capped at 8 people, so it doesn't matter if 50 people are mining it. The drain rate will cap at 8 people, so it's the more people, the better. We crash the economy. And also join the Discord star miners if you're looking for shooting stars. They also have some bots that are doing something similar to this plugin in the chat. Okay, skills progress bars. This is the one that adds the cool progress bars everywhere. Skybox, it changes the skybox from a fog, but I like the fog. It makes it old school. Let's see how it looks. Not much difference. Leave it like this. Additional Slayer task information, very useful. It counts how many monsters you have. Smelting stats, special attack counter. Spirit tree menu, it changes the spirit tree menu to actually use 1, 2, 3, 4 and stuff like that. Stretch mode, this one should have been a favorite. Without stretch mode, if you have a big screen, it's so tiny. Is this for ants? You need stretch mode so you can actually see something. Okay, supplies used tracker. This is like the loot tracker, but for supplies. And you can switch tracking. This is what you've used this session, and this is what you've used all the time since you installed this plugin. Very useful. Supplies tracker. It also shows the gold, how much it used. Task checker and tasks checker. This one is more useful in leagues. It's you can track your tasks and you can check what else you have. but it also works on the collection log tasks and the battle tasks, I think. So yeah, you can use it like a to-do list. Team, how many team and clan mates are nearby. It also draws the item. Tears of Gutix minigame, Temporos minigame, Gauntlet minigame, skip. Tile indicators. I have the advanced tile indicator, so this one is disabled. I can also uninstall it, but I can't because it's the default one. Time tracking enables the time tracking panel. Oh, sorry, this one is the time tracking, which is this one, not the timers one, which is useful. The timers one is actually the timers in the top right when you're debuffed or something. Okay, what else? The Tide Farm minigame, Twitch integration, virtual levels, it shows levels above 99. Wasted bank space, this one should have been a favorite because it's pretty useful. So basically it shows what's wasting your space and where should you put it. Metal key, you should have a key ring, put it in your key ring, stuff like that. Strawberry seed, put it in your seed box or a vault, stuff like that. What else? Weapon charges, it shows charges on the weapon. Weapon, gear, and animation replacer. This is a cool one, but I don't use it at the moment. If you want to do a different animation when you're swinging a sword or when you're carrying the sword, you want to carry the sword on your back or something, you can use this one. It's really interesting. Wiki. It adds a button that takes you to the wiki. And there is a... Where is the wiki search shortcuts? I think I skipped over this one. This one is very useful. For example, instead of going right click on the wiki and search, I have it Control W and it opens up the wiki search. So I can just go on the cat and it's faster. It goes on my other screen. And WikiSync, it also syncs. Wait a minute, did I skip? I skipped a few. Let me see. Yeah, I skipped the WikiSync world map and yeah, I skipped WikiSync. So let me show you what WikiSync does. So for example, let me go to a quest. Let's say quest this one, open wiki. I'm gonna show it. WikiSync is an extension that works with the lookup command on the wiki, the official wiki. So it's gonna sync your stats. So if you want to see Monkey Madness 1 or Monkey Madness 2, I want to see this one. It's gonna look me up automatically, basically because I have WikiSync enabled. And it shows me what I'm missing. Very useful, saves a lot of time. So yeah, I recommend WikiSync. I think I skipped it. Yeah, it was skipped. So sorry about that. Going back here, the Wiki plugin, it has this one. Winter Toad, Wise Old Man helps you manage your competitions using Wise Old Man is like a popular tracking website, stat tracking website, and there are some competitions using it. Woodcutting, it shows information. World Hoppers allows you to quickly switch worlds, and I recommend on World Hopper to put some hotkeys, the numpad plus and numpad minus, because it's close to your mouse and you can world hop with one hand. You just take your hand off the mouse, press plus, and you world hop, just like that. Okay, and also enable only member worlds or something. XP drop. Enable customization of XP. I have an advanced XP drop, so if I search drop, customizable XP drops instead of the classic XP drop. So that's what I'm using, which is better. And I recommend using that one instead of the classic XP drop. And now the last plugins, and we're almost done. Some Zalcano and Zulra plugins, and we finally end with the classic good old calculator, which is a good old normal calculator. But it's good because it has also a history. It has a log over here. times 4. It keeps a history, and I use it quite a lot instead of using the Windows calculator. So that was it. I hope you liked it, and I hope it was comprehensive enough and you found it useful. I was really blown away by how many plugins are available and how good they are. If you know other plugins, please feel free to add them in the description so I can, not the description, the comments, so I can check them out. And until next time, see ya.